Every screen reads green. All screens lie. Alarm fires. Backup says, nothing happened. Your hand reaches the lever. Rods are jammed halfway down. You are the reactor systems engineer on the night shift at a high-security nuclear facility. You pass 3 armed checkpoints. Your face reflects in bulletproof glass. You already look exhausted. The shift commander says it plainly. External grid is overloaded. Reactor runs at elevated output tonight. Then the first anomaly. Coolant pressure drops for 0.8 seconds, then returns to normal. The cooling loop vibrates. A pressure wave moves through the entire reactor core structure below your feet. You sprint across the steel grate above the spent fuel pool. The water below starts bubbling unexpectedly. Manual override shows conflicting pressure readings between 2 identical safety sensor channels. Same pipe, different reality. Emergency cooling injectors fire without any operator command. Alarm confusion erupts across the control room stations. Outside, a storm builds. The external grid spikes. The station automatically raises reactor output to compensate. The station raises output during active instability. Think about that for exactly 1 second right now. Floor vibration sensors detect structural resonance climbing well beyond the expected safe operational range today. A safety valve opens alone, releasing a controlled pressure burst into the secondary containment loop. The system snaps back to green. Too fast. Real recovery never looks that clean or that quick. One operator insists this is sensor failure. The other says core instability. Both sound completely certain. A grid official on the video link demands you hold reactor output. The network cannot take it. The senior engineer orders a full diagnostic lockdown, overriding every objection in the room without discussion. One operator silences secondary alarms to reduce what he calls panic noise. Reasonable idea. Terrible decision. That move hides a critical alert wave for 12 full seconds. 12 seconds here is enormous. When alarms return, the intensity has doubled. Every engineer in this room feels the shift immediately. The team splits into 2 camps with opposite response strategies. Nobody is moving toward agreement at all. You grab a colleague by the shoulders and force eye contact. He is running on pure fear. Headquarters communication lags under data load. Every decision from this point happens in complete isolation. The main dashboard freezes, showing stable output. The backup system shows instability. Both cannot be right. Data streams begin desyncing across identical monitoring terminals. Same reactor, same moment, completely different numbers. One sensor cluster reports impossible negative coolant flow values. The system accepts this without flagging errors. The system switches to fallback mode automatically. Key reactor parameters disappear from the active display instantly. You grab a flashlight and check the analog gauges behind the cabinets. Digital systems lost your trust. Analog readings disagree with digital readings. Either could be truthful, neither feels reliable right now. A monitoring terminal reboots itself mid-diagnostic. Not scheduled, not triggered by anyone. It simply restarts. The terminal restores data after reboot, but timestamps no longer match the actual sequence of events. Nobody knows which timeline is correct. You fly blind inside a system designed to see absolutely everything. The storm intensifies outside. The grid spikes again. Control demands more output from the station now. Heat exchange efficiency drops as atmospheric pressure outside shifts enough to affect the internal cooling balance. Backup generators activate preventively, adding a new layer of system complexity at the worst possible moment. Smoke rises from the cable tunnel below the control room. A short circuit burns through wiring. Isolation protocols activate and cut external verification channels. The station enters full autonomous operating mode. Thermal balance readings begin fluctuating without clear cause. The numbers move like something searching for ground. External conditions actively amplify internal instability. Storm outside, data chaos inside, identical pattern, identical timing. Storm outside, unreadable data inside, smoke from below, 3 separate problems converging in one direction. The control room feels cut off from reality, managing symbols on screens, not a real reactor below. The original shift plan is abandoned exactly 1 hour in. The situation made every planned procedure irrelevant. Emergency hierarchy compresses the decision chain down to the fastest available response level. No more committee discussions. Backup engineering teams are activated from standby protocols and called in from across the facility campus. Every planned maintenance task is suspended. The facility narrows its entire operational focus to one problem. You check the clock. 18 minutes until the mandatory regulatory report. 0 verified data available. External reporting is paused to avoid contradictory instructions from oversight authorities during this active event. A new containment strategy is drafted under incomplete data conditions. No training drill prepared you for this. Decision fatigue hits even senior engineers. Pauses before their answers grow longer and noticeably heavier. Nobody is confident in the current model. That is the most dangerous sentence at any nuclear plant. Hidden calibration drift is detected across multiple sensor arrays simultaneously. Not one sensor, many at once. One data node reveals long-term gradual measurement bias quietly growing inside the monitoring system undetected. This error may have been building for hours before your shift, before anything visible went wrong. Automated safety logic misreads combined sensor noise as a real physical threat and begins responding accordingly. Manual recalibration attempt triggers a brief system instability spike. Fixing measurement problems creates another one. The alarm cascade intensifies temporarily during isolation. More warnings pile on top of warnings already ignored. Smoke from the cable tunnel reaches control room air intakes. The smell enters alongside active alarms. Core readings begin correcting as the corrupted sensor cluster isolates. Numbers slowly stop contradicting each other, but you cannot tell how much of tonight was physically real versus an artifact of corrupted data. Multiple independent alarms trigger across completely unrelated subsystems at the same moment. No longer coincidence. Reactor stability models give conflicting outcomes in parallel calculations running on identical hardware with identical inputs. Coolant pressure in the primary loop climbs again. The critical threshold approaches. You watch the number rise. Emergency cooling reaches maximum safe operational capacity. No reserve remains in this system to draw from. One more fluctuation triggers the automated scram protocol, a full emergency shutdown of the entire reactor. You check the Geiger counter near the relief valve. Opening it means a controlled atmospheric steam release. Communication between control stations fragments under load. Instructions repeat, overlap, and contradict across the room. The team navigates on partial sensor consensus instead of full verified data. Flying by feel. Data fog. The system holds at the edge of controlled failure. One wrong input from a decision nobody wants. Safety systems redistribute control authority automatically without operator command. The plant reorganizes itself right now. Redundant monitoring networks partially resynchronize. Fragments of reliable data begin returning to the active displays. Outside, the storm weakens. External grid demand drops. Pressure on reactor output finally eases tonight. Reactor load drops with falling external demand, not from anything the team did. The storm stopped. Faulty sensor clusters isolate from active decisions. For the first time tonight, data starts agreeing with itself. Control room engineers slowly recover partial confidence in live readings. Partial, not full. Nobody claims full confidence. Stabilization progresses, but you feel it. The team did not steer this. The situation resolved itself. Engineers hold heightened alert despite improving numbers. Nobody trusts a recovery that arrived without explanation. System looks stable. Displays appear clean. Yet nobody in this room breathes a genuine sigh of relief. The emergency state is officially downgraded after an extended verification cycle lasting another 90 minutes. Engineers reconstruct the full sequence of anomalies. The timeline takes hours to piece together from conflicting logs. Damaged sensor clusters are removed for forensic analysis. Physical evidence of what happened inside the system. Shift documentation reveals multiple conflicting data timelines running simultaneously during the event. Logs contradict each other. The team reviews every moment where a different call could have pushed this event past manageable control. You leave the control room, hands intact, but inside, the hollowness of someone who just waited. Post-event analysis shows the most critical instability spike never physically occurred inside the reactor core. The entire cascade was generated and amplified by synchronized calibration drift across all redundant measurement systems. The control room reacted correctly to a reality its own instruments had been misreporting from the start. Every decision tonight was built on distorted system truth. Every action answered a partially fictional emergency. Safety depends not only on machines working right, but on humans reading uncertainty correctly under pressure. You did not manage physical danger tonight. You managed the perception while the storm made the call. In nuclear systems, truth is rebuilt from imperfect signals in real time. Every reading is a vote. Control is not certainty. It is a disciplined answer to uncertainty, repeated correctly, every single shift. Another shift ends where data and physical reality quietly separated and quietly found each other again. Insider shift. One truth. Like and subscribe for the next one.